Hey, what's going on, everybody? How are you? Hey guys, what's up? I have two things that I want to talk with us about today as we begin to wrap up this idea of change and being a change agent, being a change initiator, being a change advocate, and being somebody who is leading change in an organization. Just two quick things that I want to kind of wrap up our series on change with today. So one of the things that I really love to do in my life, maybe you love to do in your life too, is I love to cook. And I love to go to the grocery store, find new things, I get ideas, things that I can make. And sometimes I follow a recipe, sometimes I just kind of make it up. But can you imagine if we went to the grocery store and everything on the shelf looked like this? What is this? What's it? Does anybody know what's in? Wait, I'm trying to make dinner. I have this can. I'm not sure what's inside of it. What happened, right? What if everything in the grocery store kind of looked like that, where we went in and nothing was labeled? There was no names, there was no information, there was nothing to tell us what was on the inside. There was nothing to tell us about even caloric intake or fat or carbohydrates or sodium or potassium or anything like that, right? It would be incredibly frustrating. And to be honest with you, if I want to know what's in the can, I either got to guess or I got to open it up. So if we turn the corner on that analogy, using data in organizational change initiatives is incredibly important. And it's the same thing as using a can that's labeled or a can that's not labeled and a can that is labeled. So what's in this can? Little black beans right here, right? So when we're leading organizational change and we are flying blind, it's very difficult to know what to do. It's very difficult to know what's the next step. And so as you think about collecting data in the change process and at different times, think about, gosh, do I want to know what's going on or do I not want to know? Is this a mystery for me to solve and kind of figure out and guess, or do I want to know? And do I need to know the vital information? Is there data that I need to be collecting? And am I collecting that data at different points in time? So one of the things we might think about is, what if you're collecting data in the early stage of change? You want to focus on data that tells you the what. If you're collecting data in the middle stages of change, you want to focus on data that tells you how. We want to measure things like progress and effectiveness and processes. But if you're collecting data in the late stages of change, you want to focus on things like outcomes and what's coming next. What are the goals? What are the resources needed? What's an environmental scan? What is your client saying about the current context of the work? And so as you think about how you are going to use data, how you're going to collect data, how you're going to analyze data, how you're going to visualize that data, all of this becomes important, because either you're working in a surprise and you just got to guess, and your best guess is as good as mine about what's inside this can, or we can go with data, evidence-based practices, where we know exactly what's going on. We know what's happening because we have the data to back up our story. And like I tell my students and clients all the time, data changes the conversations we can have. When we're coming from an evidence-based practice, a place of data-driven decision-making, we fundamentally change the tone of the conversation, because it moves from, this is what I think we ought to do, to this is what I know we ought to do. This is about being trustworthy. This is about understanding the problem in ways that help us be precise, to make sure that the data that we're giving, the recommendations that we're giving, they're evidence-based, they're data-driven. Now, one of the things that we need to talk a little bit about is we've given you tons of tools. There are lots of books, right? Here's this organizational change book. This is our textbook. We've got Theory U about the future of change. We've got Kotter's model of leading change here. Here's the book I mentioned in our course. And then also, we've got this employee engagement. Who put this book in here? Brad Shuck. I'm not sure whose book that is. There are so many tools that we've been given for change, so many different analogies around around roller coasters and how we work with people, the inertia of change. We've thought about how we develop credibility. How do you build credibility with a client, with people who you've never met before? What are some ways that you can do that? What are some of the tools in your toolbox that you have now that you did not have before this series started? So kind of in some closing words, one of the things that I hope you take away from our time together in this series is that change is about people, and that there are models and there are frameworks and there are steps and there are boxes and there are diagrams and there are things that we can do. But those things are oftentimes inanimate objects. They're pieces of paper. They're a plan. They're a communication strategy. Change is about people. Change will always be about people. It's about mobilizing from the heart and rationalizing with data. It's about navigating uncertainty and providing a sense of hope. That's what change leaders do. People don't change because we tell them to change. Hey, you should do this differently. Nobody's going to say, okay. They change because they feel compelled, because they believe in something better on the other side. That if they change their behavior, their attitude, or the way that they think about something, that there's hope that it could be better. So change is about those things. It's about hope and joy and grace and love and ensuring that people can live better lives through their work because you were a part of the process. Change is about people at the end of the day. Guys, until next time. I haven't combed my hair in like a week.